Alright guys, a little podcast ramble. Ooh, my back is not feeling pleasant right now. I'm driving to a doctor's appointment at 3. It's 1:26 p.m. Shout out to LA traffic. There's not really a lot of traffic, but I want to stop by an ATM that doesn't charge me and then make another stop and then quick McDonald's stop on my way back to get to my appointment. If I sound like I'm struggling, it's because I am. My back is like not enjoying me sitting in this chair. I felt just fine when I was just laying there in my nice little just laying there on my bed. And now that I'm driving, I'm in a lot of pain. So I'm trying to do a lot of my errands at the same time. I don't prefer doing that, but this will save me a couple trips if I can just do everything, you know what I mean? And get there early, chill in my car until the appointment. I don't want to be rushing. I don't want to miss this appointment at all. I've got the car back, $960 something later. Got a new radiator and some hose replacements done. There were some cracked hoses and connections that were kind of not too fresh, so the mechanic got all that squared away. I'm just, man, the seat hurts to sit in. It's my lower back, like right kind of where my belt line is. So it's really just not a pleasant feeling right now. Guess we'll see. I guess I don't have like a whole lot to say. I'm just kind of trying to make sure, like I'm foggy today. I didn't have my internship meeting, but I thought we would, and then it turns out they weren't going to be able to meet with me today. So I'm just kind of been waiting right now till we are going to meet again. So I guess next Monday I log in and check if we're meeting. I don't really know. But I wasn't really informed that we weren't meeting today, so I got up around 8 something after having woken up every 2 hours or so last night. And the last time I woke up was 7 something this morning. And I really could have used extra sleep, but I was like, let me get up, because I try to get up like 2 hours before to try to have caffeine and then try to get my brain working. So I did some pod episodes, and I was just trying to like do what I can, you know what I mean, to make it so the process was like smoother, because I don't like to just cold start into meetings and stuff, like especially with my brain as it is lately with all the brain fog. Like, it's just not a pleasant situation. I really don't like to just start. So yeah, this upright sitting position is probably the worst position for me, and it's just so unfortunate because, you know, I'm a busy person. Like, I need to be working. It's hard to work when you can't sit at your desk. It's hard to work when you can't even stand at your desk. It's hard to get anything done if I have to keep taking CBD. I mean, I love it and all, but oh my goodness, it's like, you know, I can't tell you how many naps I've taken in the past couple weeks. then I can't drive when I have it in my system, when it's like still actively in my system. So it's kind of like, it's definitely, this back situation is just messing up my days. And I know I'm keeping on going on and on about it, but it's like, if you think about it, my two job options right now are remote work or Uber Eats deliveries. I can't do either one comfortably. Like, I could probably do like one delivery, maybe two, but that's not going to get me very far. Like, my back is in pain now, you know, I need the relief now, and I'm not really able to get the relief. So I'm just trying to do what I can, basically. I mean, at least I am mobile. It could be worse. I could be just like completely bedridden. Like when the pain first started, I was really feeling pretty messed up. Like, I almost couldn't like roll over in bed and stuff like that. Like when it gets severe, it's severe. But you know, I really don't want to like aggravate it either, because I don't know what's wrong. Like, I know that this is not normal. Like, I've had back pain before, usually from like stress or like just bad posture, but it's like, usually it's something that like, okay, I go to sleep or relax a while, and you know, within hours or by the time I wake up, it's gone. It's not something that lasts for like weeks. And this has been going on since like the 24th, so we're like almost the third weekend now. I was just waiting too, so I could like drive, because I wasn't too comfortable driving, and yeah. But that's about all I can say. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to like get customers online. I'm working on a new landing page. It's just slow going. It's like, if you can imagine being on your laptop in bed, like on your elbows on your laptop trying to like type, you know, you can really only sit like that or lay like that for a limited period of time, versus when you're actually sitting in a chair. When you sit in a chair, you're kind of more, you have a longer period where you can kind of just like sit there, you know what I mean? And yeah, having COVID didn't help either. It really didn't help to have COVID. It was not a pleasant experience. And then going from laying around for 2 weeks with that, and now dealing with this, it's just, I feel like a broken record. Just keeping on saying the same things over and over again, but you know, it's my reality. I don't really have too much more to report. I've got some friends I'm meeting up with. I'm still catching up with some people. I suppose for Tomboy Official, the report is that, you know, after catching up with some people, I'm kind of feeling a little like, you know, there's a lot of people that it's easy to kind of catch up with, and then there's people that I guess I wasn't fully out to them, like, when I was in contact with them. So, because I wasn't fully out to them, I just don't know what it's going to be like catching up. I'm not trying to, you know, do the absolute most, you know what I mean? I'm just trying to catch up. And so, I think we'll be think we'll be okay. I think we're going to be okay. Just, I need to make sure that they're not homophobic. It's church people, so really there's no telling. I mean, really there's no telling either way. Like, when you haven't seen somebody in like a decade, you kind of just can't fully, predict what it's going to be like. And so I'm just trying to, make sure that I'm not putting myself in places where I'm going to be taking steps backwards or getting involved with people that are going to get in my way on any wavelength. I don't really want to be crossing paths with people. Like, I know there are people that don't have to have the same beliefs. I'm not talking about that I'm not willing to be around somebody whose beliefs are different than mine. That's not necessarily what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to say I don't want to be around people who are just either going to be spreading rumors or just, I don't know. Some people just don't have the etiquette for certain things, and I am not the one to be having to deal with that. I've dealt with enough. I'm not trying to like put myself in harm's way. I don't really see a need to do that, so I don't know. Other people might think differently, but that's kind of my method with it all. Alright, I need to punch into the map where I'm actually going. Okay. Alright, it's only 2.2 miles. 8 minutes. Alright, so I wish it was easier just to see where the heck I'm going. Let's see. Facing north. Need to go this way. Okay, buddy. Okay, buddy. That's not where it is. It's not where it is at all. Alright, I see where I need to go. But yeah. Like, is there even a benefit, Like, or is there even a point to meeting up with people where it's not beneficial? I think so long as it's not like something truly harmful, I think there is a benefit to meeting up with people with different beliefs. So long as it's like agree to disagree. I think it's different, if somebody starts bashing you. Like, for example, I had a friend that once, we used to go to church together and all this stuff. And I met them through a school group. And they were pretty cool. They, they were open-minded about alcohol. They were open-minded about, weed. They were open-minded about, mostly that. I guess you could call it premarital sex. They were kind of open-minded in doing all those things, and I found it interesting that, one day, we started going to church together on occasion, and one day, that person was just like, oh yeah, I think being gay is wrong, it's against the Bible, like all this, the blah blah blah, how people get. And I'm just thinking, like, there are a lot of theories out there that suggest otherwise. that the Bible does say a lot of prejudice type things that nowadays a lot of times people would probably look at it and be like, I don't really know if that's really okay. But when you look at sexuality in general, most of Western society is so uptight about it that it's like, it's hard for me to really say, okay, is it homosexuality that is the issue, or just the fact that people are so uptight about sexuality in general? Like, people are even uptight about teaching their own kids about sex. People are uptight about just sex in general. A lot of people are shamed about it. A lot of people are taught all kinds of just unhealthy things about it. And unfortunately, people get exposed to unhealthy sexual people. Because I don't know if it's because of the repression or because of other people experiencing abuse. I'm not going to say that just because somebody experienced abuse, they're more likely to be abusive. I don't really know about that statistic, not specifically enough to really fully say it and be like, oh yeah, I do believe this. I know people worry about that. People who have been abused worry about being abusive towards others. I don't think that it's like a 1-to-1 ratio. I don't know, but I really don't think it's a 1-to-1 ratio. I know a lot of people who have unfortunately been violated in some way, and unless they're all just like secretly doing crazy bad stuff, like I don't think most of them are running around, doing bad things to people. I think most of them are actually empathic and, very compassionate towards other people with those experiences, and stick up for people and make sure that other people aren't being taken advantage of. Now, these are the people I know. I could say that I know some other people that are just, unhealthy with their sexual practices or beliefs and things. And it's not because they're homosexual. It's not even that. It's not a homosexual thing. It's the majority of people I know are straight people that just have really bad boundaries and abusive tendencies and like to gaslight people. And they're just not the majority of people I know, but the majority of abusive people I know kind of fit into that category. And I do know of people who have been abusive. I wouldn't say that I've like associated with them that much, but because I have friends who have experienced different things, and if they say, oh, it was this and this person or whatever, and it's like, so I know those people, so it's like, I know that it happens, and that those people don't like fess up to it, or don't, own up to it, or don't get help for it or whatever. Like, they're just running the streets. And so, yeah, I think that kind of stuff is definitely terrible. But when it just comes to like a guy who likes guys, or a woman who likes women, or like, whatever gender a person identifies as or does not identify as, just having love for another person, or desire for another person, or a desire for intimacy, or, sexual attraction or physical attraction, or whatever it may be, I don't really see how that is viewed by some people as such an issue. I've identified far more issues that I could see impact other people negatively. I really don't see how, non-heterosexual sexuality is really such an issue. I really think it's more of a prejudice, and a kind of like, people are just taught to be so ashamed about that kind of stuff that they just can't. Like, I think it's within Western society, as open-minded as people want to say they are, when it comes to sexuality in general, Westerners are not very open-minded. I'll give you an example. When I was younger, I came across, manga, Japanese comics. When I was younger, at least in my area, they weren't easy to find in English. And I had Japanese friends, and we would go to the Japanese bookstores or the Japanese stores where they'd have like stationery and art supplies, and then they'd usually have like manga and stuff like that, like books, other kind of books, notebooks for writing for school. And then they'd have other books that were actually like books, you know what I mean, where you would buy like a novel or something, but it was in Japanese, or like whatever kind of books in Japanese. And so there would be all these books, and me and my friends, we'd sit in that section and browse through some of these books and have an interest in some of these kind of books. And me, it was more of like a cultural interest. Like, I wasn't like 100% certain like what this was, but I could tell you I never saw anything like that in English before. I never saw American comic books that were having like sexual topics, and I was pretty intrigued by it, because I was like, wow, like this is pretty cool. They have like these sexual topics, and it was in like comics, so I kind of just thought like, well, maybe these are for people my age. Like, I didn't really know that it was like kind of adult material, but like I didn't really know. Like, in American culture, we don't have anything similar, so I just kind of went with it, I wasn't like, I was a little like, it was like curious, not too sure, but I wasn't like feeling bad about it or anything. And it was like, there was a lot of gay stuff in there too. It was like, and I just kind of, I wasn't buying a lot of stuff, and it was all in Japanese, but the pictures were definitely explicit enough to know what was going on. Alright guys, I'm making incredibly good time. It's 1:56 right now. So let me see. I'll get back to what I was saying. I just need to do another map check. Is this even leading me to the right place? Sometimes I gotta look at pictures of things to know. Okay. Alright, this is where I'm going. 11 minutes, alright. We're gonna be a little early, guys, so that's good. Alright, so let's see. So I was talking about manga that had a little bit of some explicit content to it, and that I came across it when I was younger. People really just want to swoop back behind you. I came across it when I was younger, and it was in a bookstore, and it was like, we'd be like giggling kids, like not young kids, probably like teens. Now, would they let you buy it? I don't know. I don't know if you're allowed to buy it. I wasn't ever making purchases like that. Like, I probably wouldn't have been comfortable making the purchases, but I also wasn't planning to make the purchases, and when I was younger, I was kind of cheap. So I honestly didn't really buy a whole lot of stuff that I didn't really need. I was perfectly fine just looking at it in the store, you know what I mean? Like, I wasn't, like, too hung up on any of it. But, yeah, so I'm not saying the Japanese culture, Eastern culture, is way open-minded. I mean, I'd say that in a lot of ways, Japanese culture is usually considered traditionally to be pretty reserved. But artwork wise, sexuality wise, kind of like the content that I was exposed to, not by adults, by other kids my age, you know, the content I was exposed to was far more, there was far more abundance of it, and far more, there was definitely more homosexuality or themes of homosexuality. A lot of it was kind of fetishy as well. So it would be like college male student with like some kind of boss or something like that, like some kind of work boss, or like a teacher's like with a teacher or something like that, like a professor. Like it was like usually like a guy that was like 18 or so with like an adult that was like near 30 or something. Kind of almost like if you've ever seen Queer as Folk, kind of almost like that dynamic with Justin and Brian Kinney. Almost like that. Just, I don't really know if the ages, I don't really know. Because I know in that show, I guess, spoiler alert, like, it was Justin wasn't 18 the whole time, so that could be something maybe a little on the controversial end too. So, like, he was 18, he turned 18 while he was dating this guy who turned 30. But yeah, they were just kind of oh gosh, I can't tell you how many times I almost see accidents. The people don't really follow the right of way too good over here. It's like these weird four-way stops. But yeah, so yeah, there is kind of an issue with it. Like, it's not, like, I'm not saying it was like squeaky clean, you know. Like, I would say, I don't really know the ages, but I would say they would usually mention like, oh, college or something like that. College with like an older tutor or something like that. There were always these kind of like power dynamics where there was someone who was like in charge and then like a younger guy. The female ones, they were always a little, not always, but the female ones, you know, the characters tended to be just generally more sexual with one another or with anybody for the most part. And then they were sexual, I don't know, I saw more males doing sexual stuff than females, like females with females. I saw more males with males, but I know there is this kind of like it's like a fetish thing. Like, I remember going to Anime Expo and two of my female cis straight female religious friends were wearing Japanese kind of schoolgirl costumes. Like, not, I don't know if they're even costumes. I think they were actually the uniforms they might have had in school, or one of them had like a uniform that they actually wore, but the other one bought one, or like bought part of one or whatever. And then they were kind of going around holding hands like at Anime Expo, and people would like stop them to take pictures and stuff. They weren't even like a specific character. They were just holding hands as girls, and people were really into that. And all they were doing was holding hands and then like maybe putting their arm around each other and stuff like that. But it's like, I'm not knocking people's fetishes. I'm just saying people were in this fetishy, they were doing like fetishy type stuff. Now, I don't know if they were into it or not. Like, I never had a conversation with them about it. They never did it before, from what I saw. I never saw them do it before, and I never have seen them do it since. But I mean, it was capturing attention of people, but it was more of like a straight male fetish kind of thing. So it's kind of like, okay, I can say there was like some homoerotic type of content, but it was kind of fetishy in a way. I didn't see a lot of diverse themes. Like, a lot of it was like, okay, if there were guys that were into each other, they were like in a boarding school. There's this one, I'll give you some names. There's this one, Takumi-kun. It's about this guy he's like in a boarding school, and it seems to me that he has I don't want to spoil this. Well, it's a spoiler alert, okay? So he has this interest in Takumi-kun is the main character who is a violinist, and there's this kind of really popular guy in school named Gi, and I think Takumi has a crush on Gi. I don't really know. That's not very clear. It's kind of clear, but it's not like super clear. But it's a little bit questionable because they don't just come out and say it, but like he's always a little bit like shy around him, and like it's definitely crush vibes. It's definitely gay male crush vibes. And then there's another one. There's another Princess D or Puri D. It's like these guys who kind of dress up in drag, looking like, in female clothes at this all guys boarding school, because at the boarding school they don't have women, and so the guys at the school get encouraged by these other guys dressing up as women because they don't have access to women. But some of the guys, I guess, in the school kind of have a little bit of crushes, and then there's I don't know if Mikoto's the main character, but I remember he was my favorite character. He becomes this how do I say this, like Mikoto, they're trying to get him to be this how do you say it, I don't know how to even say it. They're trying to get him to be like to dress in drag and stuff. They don't call it in drag, but it's like to dress in like these female made costumes and stuff like that, and just to encourage the teams. So there would be different teams like I don't know, let's say soccer, volleyball, whatever kind of sports teams schools usually have. There's another one called Gakuen, I think it's called Gakuen Heaven or something like that. It's got a lot of like homoerotic kind of vibes of like just all these school guys kind of having crushes on each other. But again, it's like, you notice there's these themes. It's always like these school guys. It's always themed around school or college, and people having crushes, and a lot of it's not outward. Like, you just notice they're shy around certain guys, or like they have a certain interest, or if a certain guy like touches them on the shoulder or whatever, or they might get like really close, like emotionally or something like that. But it's like, you would never see cartoons like that. And I know anime isn't technically the same as like King of the Hill and like Family Guy, like American kind of adult style-ish cartoons. You would never really see cartoons like that though, like in the US. Like, I don't know about other like European Western culture and stuff, but I would probably say that they probably don't have it like that either. But yeah, I definitely noticed in Japanese culture, and these are old ones. I stopped watching the stuff like as I just kind of phased out of like watching that kind of content. I just, I got busy in school and just was like, I don't want to read this stuff all the time, and like, but those are just the few that come to mind. I mean, I'm pretty sure that I watched quite a few more. There were a lot, and even the ones that were kind of geared for like teens, where they almost always had like these sexual themes coming out. And again, I'm not saying it's like wrong or bad. I'm just saying, like, you would never find that almost in US culture unless you went out of your way to buy some kind of like sex themed thing. Like, it would really have to be like some very specific thing. So let's see. I need to be careful here. These lanes kind of suck because I'm trying to get into a driveway that has like a weird angle to it, and people don't want to stop driving. But yeah, those are just some examples, and it's like you would never see that in American culture. But then American culture would always say, "Oh, like we're so open-minded compared to these other people," and it's like, nah, when you come to sexuality, really, you're not. You're not open-minded at all. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know what else to really say about it. To each their own. I don't fight with people on it or whatever. It's just something I've noticed. But I guess with that, I'm going to end this episode. I got to get on with my stuff here.